Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government releases 130 billion naira to university councils as part of the steps to end industrial action by lecturers. Committee on Dialogue says more Boko Haram members embrace offer by federal government. Statement by former Education Minister on cost of running National Assembly stirs controversy. And US President Barack Obama says allegations of chemical weapons attack in Syria a big event of grave concern. Now all our top stories and other programs can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. If you're on the go, visit m.channelstv.com. To view us live on an iPad, iPhone or BlackBerry, you can also download the Channels TV app for Android and Nokia 920 devices from their respective stores. If you are unable to make or receive calls within a reasonable time, then you may have to report to your service provider because your phone number may have been cloned. This revelation is coming from the Assistant Director Operations of the FCT Command of the Department of Security Service, Ibrahim Halilu. While parading a suspected fraudster who was arrested in connection with the cloning of the mobile phone number of the FCT Minister, Senator Bala Mohammed, Mr. Halilu said most Nigerians are in the habit of not paying attention to such issues. He added that the suspect will be arraigned in court as soon as investigations are complete. Fire has razed the popular Kara market situated in the Isheri area along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Ogun State in Nigeria's southwest region. A similar incident happened on the night of April the 3rd, where an annex of the market, which deals in provisions, foodstuffs, soft drinks, materials, cement and spare parts, was gutted by fire, as many traders counted their losses, which ran into millions of naira. The Ogun State government had earlier explained to the traders that they'd be relocated to a more suitable environment, which will be situated in Ifor local government area of the state. The vision of the federal government to transform Nigeria into one of the 20 top economies by the year 2020 may remain a mirage unless funding for space research and technological development is increased. A professor of communication and satellite technology from the University of Ilorin, Professor Tunji Ibiyemi, stated this at the 50th anniversary lecture in commemoration of the launch of the first communication satellite in Abuja. He emphasized that Nigeria can attain true transformation when the nation's natural resources are harnessed for development.
The first communication satellite, SAICOM-2, was used to record the historic telephone conversation between the former American President John Kennedy and Nigeria's Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. At a lecture to commemorate the event, a university don Professor Tunji Ibiyemi says Nigeria needs to do more in consolidating on the gains of communication technology.
It is not the amount of natural resources that you have now that determine how wealthy you are. If that is the case, Nigeria has no problem. But if you have natural resources and you cannot transform it to products by yourself, it is with your own head you carry that natural resources to somebody who will tell you how much is going to buy it. You buy it at its own price, and then he will transform it and sell it to you at his own price. That is what we are experiencing.
The Director General of the National Space Research and Development Agency, Professor Saidu Mohammed, says Nigeria's prospect in achieving technological development is very bright, particularly with the increased number of global population.
There are approximately 1,107 satellites providing civilian communications, and another 792 supporting military communications in the orbit. Some 700 of them are in synchronous orbit, The communication satellite industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry that gives human returns on investments. Revenue for services on communication satellite in 2011 alone is over $90 billion, comprising of satellite radio and broadband.
The launch of SciComm-2 in July 1963 symbolized the beginning of technological revolutions across the globe through the application of space science and technology.
The dust raised by a former Minister of Education, Mrs. Obi Ezekwesili, saying that Nigerian lawmakers should work on a part-time basis to save costs is yet to settle. While some welcome her suggestion, saying it is needed in the face of current realities, others say lawmaking is serious business. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, has more on this debate.
What is this of oil economy?
Former Minister of Education putting forward her suggestion on the way to reduce what many agree is the high cost of governance in the country. But days after the event, it has been a mixed bag of praise and criticism for the former minister.
I would have expected that she would have started that conversation when she was in government, because this is not a new reality. It is what we have had to confront from 1999 when we transited into the current civil rule.
Views were divided on the possibility of operating a part-time legislature in the country.
Probably she's coming from the angle of spending so much money or too much money. And that can be addressed without reducing the volume of work, because there's a lot of work to be done in Nigeria.
So anything that can reduce recurrent expenditure so that the capital expenditure will top is in the interest of the development of the country.
Some people feel there's a need to look beyond the National Assembly and include other arms of government in the drive for a lower recurrent expenditure.
Could also talk about how much does it cost to maintain a minister in the federal minister. How much does it cost? We also need to articulate that to be able to come to terms so that we don't simply malign one institution against the other.
If we have 150 billion naira in a budget of 4.9 trillion, what is the fraction? And we have kept saying, what is the recurrent on the other side, on the executive side, on the judicial, on the side of the judiciary?
Some Nigerians say the call for a part-time legislature is overdue.
If we do that, everything will work. Make the highest paid person in the Senate a level 50, the salary you give to a level 15 officer. All those people who are not necessary will sit down too.
Whichever time they are going to meet, issues of major importance will be considered. Not that they will just be meeting, and each time they meet, then they will be talking of a sitting allowance here and there. Maybe they meet on issues that worth meeting.
Now, reacting to the challenge by the former Minister of Education for a debate on the National Assembly's budgetary allocation, the House of Representatives says it welcomes the idea. But Nigerians may just prefer to see clear signs that government truly wants to reduce the country's high recurrent expenditure. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Power is key to achieving the desired economic goal of this administration, and the federal government says it will not relent in its drive to stabilize the sector. This indication was given by the Minister of Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, during a factory tour in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. He dismissed the worry by some over high electricity tariffs, saying what's important now is ensuring that there is adequate power supply. On his part, the State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Bimbo Ashiru, pointed out that the state is ready to host more business.
In this country, everything we see is about tariff. Life in industry is not just about tariff. It goes beyond tariff. Tariff is a small issue. So I don't always want to focus my discussion on tariffs. That is part of the errors we've made in the past for so long in the country, that we're always talking about tariff. We need to talk about competitiveness of the sector. We need to make sure that we remove all those, we bring in the enabling factors that it needs to try to do better, and remove the barriers to increase productivity and competitiveness in the economy.
Still ahead on the news at 10. Reviving agriculture is the focus of this year's Nigerian Economic Summit, scheduled for September. That's on Business News. Do join us again.